Hello and welcome to the Young Voices project for the Township Sun. Today we are looking at writing fiction for magazines. This is the first workshop of three, and how we're going to run it is I'm going to do a screen share, go through a PowerPoint presentation very quickly. So this will be a summary of what we covered in the workshop in case you missed it. And hopefully you can see this. So we can start. Here we go. So, as I said, this is writing fiction for magazines. It's part of the Young Voices project with Right Here, Right Now, Bishop's University's Lifelong Learning Academy, and the Township Sun. So the project, as I'm sure you know, it's an open competition for people who are aged between 12 and 29. They can enter they can enter their work, submit their work in different categories. You've got fiction, non-fiction, poetry, art and photography. You can win up to $100 and publication in the Township Sun. We are running these free Zoom workshops that can give advice and some tips on these different categories. I am running the fiction ones. So you might be asking, who on earth is this person? So I am Rebecca Welton. No. I have an MSc from the London School of Economics. I'm a writer and author. I was the editor of Hope and Resilience in the Time of COVID, which was an anthology of community writing and artistry. I was shortlisted for the Fresher Prize in short stories. At the moment, I run creative writing workshops for Right Here, Right Now, and Bishop's University Lifelong Learning Academy. So the agenda for the three workshops, we are going to cover different things in each workshop. So the first workshop, this one that we're doing today, we're going to look at briefly what is short fiction and why are the opening lines so important. For the middle one, for the next one, we're going to look at the structure, how to structure fiction articles for magazines. And also we're just going to look at what sort of things should you include in the middle part of your article so that it doesn't get bogged down. And finally, we're going to look at what makes a great ending, what really makes you end a story with a bang, and make it a story that readers find that they are still remembering sort of days later. We are going to do some writing exercises and feedback. This is more for the workshops, though. I will let you know what the exercises are. So please do try them at home if you missed the workshops. Try them at home. Feel free to email me with them and I can have a look if you want that. So today, short fiction. What is short fiction? Because writing short fiction for magazines, you're writing a short story for a magazine. So Edgar Allan Poe, very famous short story writer, he said a short story should be no longer than can be read in a single sitting. So you're not having to go back to it multiple times. You just sit down, read it, you get a complete story, a start, a middle, and the end, and that's it, you're done. So short fiction, it is, though, an umbrella term. It can cover lots of different types of short stories. So you do get flash fiction, which are 5 words long, and you get short stories that are as long as 10,000 words. So what we're looking at today for this Township Sun competition, for the Young Voices project, they're looking for short stories of 1,200 words as maximum. So that's sort of what we're aiming at, and the sort of short stories we're looking at today. I'm giving you a list of some short story writers if you want to read other short stories and see how other authors have done it, what works, what doesn't, that sort of thing. Have a look, see what you enjoy. Why write short fiction? So personally, I love writing short stories. I really, really do. It is so fun, and it has this immediacy to it. So I also write novels. When I write novels, I find it is a slog. You are writing for weeks, you are writing for months to get to the end. Whereas short stories, you can write a short story in a day. So you get that feeling at the end of the day. You're like, oh, I did that. Oh my God, I did that. I've written an entire story. I have done it. I have started it. I have completed it. I did that. You get that sense of accomplishment with short stories that you do get with longer fiction and longer work, but it takes a long time to get there. So I really like short stories and having that immediacy to it. I like that it's fun. It really is fun to write because you can play around with it a lot more than you can with longer pieces of work. If something's not going right, you can just try something new, and it's not such a, because you can do it in a day, it's not such a big thing. Whereas if you get months into your novel and you go, oh, it's not working well, don't know what to do, to then try and change it, it's a big undertaking. It really is something you might have to do, but it's a big undertaking. Whereas short stories, you can just play around with it. If something's not working, you just go, oh, I want to try this, or I want to try that. It gives you that ability to try new things without it being like a massive undertaking. It is also it's so important because it can really fine-tune your writing skills. If you want to be a good writer, writing short stories can really help. Because the limited word count, it really focuses the mind. It forces you to think about every character, every action, every word. So what sort of stories do you like to write? Or which types do you like to read? Have a think about that. What sort of genre do you think you might be good at, or what do you enjoy? And it's that enjoyment and that sense of fun that I want you to find with writing short stories. So I really do recommend writing something that you enjoy, or writing a genre that you enjoy. So there are different types of fiction stories. So you've got comedy, sci-fi, friendship, buddy stories, romance, fantasy. There's just a small selection. You do get lots and lots of different types of short stories. So work out what sort of genre you like, what sort of things you enjoy, because you are more likely to write a better story if you're writing in a genre that you really like, and writing about things that you love. So perhaps you like dogs, so write a comedy about a main character who's a dog walker. Really important tip here. So the township son, we know the township son, and I will give you lots of information about the township son and what they're looking for. But if you want to make a career out of this, or you want to make this a hobby and you want to submit to other types of magazines, it's really important to do your research. Okay, so know your target audience. Read the past issues of the magazine that you're submitting to. So what topics do they cover? What is the writing style? What is the word limit? What are they looking for? In their submission guidelines, they often are quite clear. We are interested in this type of story. We are not interested in anything to do with this. So it gives you a really clear idea of what they're expecting and what they need and what they want. So we get down to the basics of writing an article. So what should a fiction article include? So Russ Hill says that short story tells of something that happened to someone, and as a result of the something, the someone is changed. So I've written an example here. So Jules, she is the someone, okay? She's a 12-year-old girl, very shy. So shy that she can't talk to adults outside of her family, okay? On her way to the shops, Jules and her mum have a car accident, so that's the something that happened, okay? The inciting incident, we call it, but something happened. Okay, Jules is scared. She's really scared, but she drags herself and her mum out of the car. She runs to the nearest house. There, she manages to overcome her shyness, and she is able to ask for help. Okay, so her mum is taken to hospital. Mum's fine, and afterwards, Jules is no longer has a problem talking to other adults. So the someone, Jules, is changed from the start of the story, where she couldn't talk to adults. Something happened, and now at the end of the story, she is now able to talk to adults. She has changed. Story essentials, so things that you need to include in the short story. So it is a complete story. It has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end. The main character should have a goal. So what is it that they want? What are they hoping to achieve in this story? And what are their motivations? So why do they want to do this? It should have conflict, internal and or external. I will talk about that in a minute. So the conflict, what is stopping them achieve their goal? Do they have a setback in achieving this goal? And there should be an internal journey. So like we talked about with Jules, she's changed in some way. The main character will be different in some way from the beginning of the piece to the end of the piece. So what do we mean when we talk about conflict? When we refer to conflict in stories, we mean the struggle between two opposing forces. And this can be internal or it can be external. So the main character, they have a goal, they have something that they want to achieve, but the conflict is something is in the way of this, something is stopping them achieve this goal. So internal conflict. So this involves a struggle within a character. So their own fears, their own emotions, their own wants get in the way of them achieving the goals that they have set themselves. So an example, Max, lovely boy, he wants to try out for the swim team. All of Max's friends are on the team, and he's really worried that if he doesn't make the team as well, they're going to stop hanging out with him. On the day of the tryouts, though, Max can't get into the water. 2 years ago, he almost drowned in a boating accident, and now he's too scared to get into the swimming pool, even though he desperately wants to be on the swim team. He wants to be with his friends. He doesn't want to lose their friendship. He really wants this. His own fears are stopping him achieve that goal because he cannot get himself into the water. So internal conflict drives character development. It shows how they are changed from the start of the story to how they are at the end of it. External conflict. So this is someone or someone else or something external that is stopping the main character from achieving their goals. And this drives the tension in the story as the character tries to reach their goal. So this time, he's not scared. There was no boating accident. But this time, Max is stopped from trying out from the swim team by his little sister, who's really, really jealous of him because he is so good at swimming, and it's all his parents talk about all the time, how amazing Max is. So she sneaks into the changing room and hides a swimming costume. What does Max do? What's he going to do? How is he going to get to the tryouts? How is he going to make this happen? So it drives the tension in the story. So this is a short exercise. Feel free to stop this recording for 10-15 minutes, give it a go. As I said, feel free to send me the results if you want to. It's up to you. The exercise is a very simple one. I want you to firstly just think. So don't write. I want you to think about your main character. So who is your main character? Is it a schoolgirl who wants to get on the soccer team? Is it an alien? Is it a schoolboy who's also a werewolf but is hiding from his friends? Is it a gamer who plays against his neighbor, but he doesn't know that he's playing against his neighbor because they both use different names online? That sort of thing. So think about who your main character is. Right now, I want you to write the goal in this story that you're going to write. What is the goal of the main character? What are they hoping to achieve? What is it that they want? Okay, so that's number one, write the goal. Then I want you to write a list of all the potential conflicts that could stop them from achieving this. So it could be internal conflicts, it could be external conflicts, it could be both. But I want you to write a list of all the potential conflicts that you could use in your story that would stop them achieving their goal. So welcome back. If you stopped it, if you didn't stop it, we're going to keep going. This is just a quick explanation or a quick list of ideas if you were stuck for inspiration. So you don't know, you've sat in front of the computer, there's a blank screen and you're just going, I don't know what to write. How do I do this? Where do I start? So where to get inspiration from? Look at local news stories. They tend to give you the who, the what, the how, but often don't go too deeply into the why. So allow these real life examples to really spark your imagination. Turn it into fiction. Explore the why of the different situations. It does work well with crime and mystery stories. Alternatively, use a holiday gone wrong format. Everybody has a holiday gone wrong story. I promise you, go and talk to friends and family. Ask about holidays that went awry. Find something in there. Expand it. Take it down a road and see where it leads you. Remember to think about the conflict, the internal and the external conflict. Alternatively, you can think of an everyday dilemma that you or your friends or family have, and then set your story either in the past or in the future, and really think about how they would try to resolve this dilemma. Lastly, try free writing for 10 minutes. So free writing, if you're new to write, free writing, this is where there's no pressure, you set the timer, and you just write whatever's in your head. So you might be looking at an orange on your desk, so you write about an orange. What's it look like? What's the color like? I wonder what it tastes like. Things like that. Just see where it takes you. It might take you that, oh look, the orange fell off the table, and a dog found it. Your dog came and got it and ran away with it. And where did it take? Where did it take the orange? And where did it leave the orange? Did you find it later on in a really icky place? So just see where it takes you. You are often very surprised when you start free writing from the start. After 10 minutes, you're like, how did I end up here? But this is a really cool place to be. So it's very effective and can be a lot of fun. So give it a go, try it out. So tips, just some general tips for writing short stories. First lines count. They really, really do. You need to set the scene instantly. You need to hook the reader. You want them to read the first lines and go, oh, I need to know more. I want to know more. I need to keep reading. So you really want to hook the reader with those first lines, and that's very, very important. So you can drop them straight into the conflict. That is a very good technique for hooking the reader with short stories and setting the scene instantly. Make every word count. We do have a word limit with short stories. With this project, your word limit is 1,200 words. So you really need to think about every word. You need to think about every character, every action in your short story. Is it really needed? Can you use one word where presently you use 7, but can you use one word which would cover it? Don't waste words on details that are not important to the story. In short stories, there really is nowhere to hide. There is no space for digression. You need to be very slimlined with your story. Powerful imagery. This is important because you can get across your point with a low word count. So if readers can visualize it, can visualize what you're trying to say, you're halfway there. So think about using powerful imagery. Use emotions. This is a way of really connecting the reader with your characters, is using emotions. So know what your characters are thinking and feeling. Use the emotion, get to the core of it. And as I said, it's a very good device for connecting the reader to the character quickly. Have one setting, moving between, I'd say 1 or 2 settings, because moving between locations often take up too many words. Characters, less is more, very much so in short stories, because too many characters clutter up a short story. You don't have the word count to do the characters all justice. You don't have the word count to do like 10 characters that are fully formed. So aim to have no more than 4 characters in your story and really pay attention to them, give them justice so that they're fully formed, they're not two-dimensional, they're not too cliched, anything like that. The opening, right. This is how you start the story. The opening of your short story, you're going to hit the reader with a bang. It's going to be amazing. But how do you make it amazing? It's really important because you have to hook the reader and you have to hook the editor. You're not going to get as far as the reader if you can't get past the editor. So you have to hook these people into the story. You have to make them want to read more. If the rest of your piece is amazing, but your opening is rubbish, but the rest of the piece is amazing, it doesn't matter because they're not going to get to the amazing bit because they're not going to get past the rubbish opening. Okay, so it's really important that we start it with a bang. Okay, you don't have the word count to take too much time setting the scene or having lots of exposition. What I mean by exposition is the background information that you give the reader that helps them to understand the story. But you don't have the word count to give lots of exposition. Some writers recommending starting as close to the end of the story as possible, which is it's a very good tip. It's a very good way of starting the story. It's something definitely you should think about. So there are different options for how to start it. So number 1, drop the reader straight into the action. So this is called in medias res. When I say action, it might be that it is full-on, proper ninja-like action. It could be that it is a bank robbery. You're right in the middle of a bank robbery. That's where you started. Or it doesn't need to be ninja-like action. It could be that someone misses their train. That's the action. That's what the inciting instant that has changed, that sets off a train of events in your story. So think about dropping the reader straight into the action. Number 2, you can start with a sentence that creates intrigue. So Maggie claimed that she lost the key. So it makes the reader want to read on because they're thinking, who's Maggie? What does the key open? And did she really use it? Because you've used the word claimed there. So did she really use it or not? So it creates a bit of intrigue and makes the reader want to read on to find out the answers to these questions. Finally, you can start with an image, so you can give a brief description of a person, location, or perhaps an object that will resonate, really connect with the reader and leave a lasting impression. So that is 3 different options for how you start it. So again, short exercise, 10-15 minutes. Just try, give it a go. Write a short opening for your short story. So in this one, I want you to have 2 characters. One is the main character with their goal. Think about their motivation. Why do they want to do this? Why do they want to achieve it? The other is another character who is going to stop them from achieving that goal in some way. Okay, so what are their goals? When we talk about a main character, we normally call them a protagonist. When we talk about someone who is going to be the main conflict, who is stopping them achieve that goal, we sort of call them an antagonist. Okay, so when you're thinking about the antagonist, make them fully formed. So what are their goals? What do they want? Why is it that their goals mean that the main character, the protagonist, isn't achieving theirs? Where does that conflict come in? Okay, think about their motivations. Aim to start in the middle of the action and just have fun with it. Go and have a play and enjoy it. So for our final writing exercise, I want you to take, again, 10-15 minutes. I want you to go back to your opening that you wrote, and I want you to change the main character. So I want you to swap it around. I want you to do it from the point of view of the antagonist this time, rather than the protagonist. And then at the end of it, I want you to compare the 2 pieces. I want you to think about which is better, which is sharper, which is more focused, which was more fun to write. Did you like writing, if it's a classic one, you know, did you like writing the hero, or did you like writing the villain? So give it a go, give it a play, see what happens. Okay. So that's it, really. That's our brief explanation of what we covered in the workshop. This is all about the Township Sun Young Voices project. For the Township Sun, Rachel Garber is amazing. She's so lovely. She is the editor of the Township Sun. She has said, so we've talked to her, and there is an explanation, there is detailed explanations on the Young Voices website page on the Township Sun website. 4 short stories, so these are things you need to think about. Length, a maximum 1,200 words, okay? They are looking for various different things. They want to be surprised. So you can do fiction, you can do personal stories, you can do humor. They want stories that draw the readers in, characters they can relate to, and take them on a memorable journey. It is not essential, but it might be advantageous for the setting to be in the Eastern Townships, or to have a character from the Eastern Township. Something to think about. Mild swearing is accepted, but needs to be for a purpose. It can't just be gratuitous. These are the submission details. Again, it's all on the website. If you have any questions, you can email either me or the you can email the address that's on the website. The next workshops, as I said, we are going to cover how to structure the short fiction piece, and what to include and what not to include in the middle portion of the short story, and then finally how to end your short fiction with a bang. And also, we're just going to have a quick look at maybe some things to avoid. Homework, again, completely up to you, but give it a go. Write your opening. Aim for 300 to 500 words of your short stories. Things to think about: hooking the reader, use interesting characters, compelling action, intriguing questions. Don't give too much exposition. Don't just parcel the information needed out on a need-to-know basis. And that is it. I will also put up the next 2 workshops. We will do another summary just like this, which will be on the website. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.